Assalamu alaikum and hello to dear viewers and listeners. You are here with Israf Tanoli, the researcher. Dear viewers, today we are diving into the world of metaphor. In this video, we shall look at the etymology of the metaphor, then should discuss about the historical backdrops of the metaphor. After that, definition, types, functions and example of the metaphor would be the part of this video module. So firstly, starting with the word history or the etymology of the metaphor. The metaphor has got its roots back in the Greek word metaphor, which means to carry over or to transfer. Metaphor is used in the context of rhetoric and poetry, where one thing is explained in terms of another thing. Metaphor is the combination of two words. Which are these two words? The prefix meta and forest. What does meta mean? Meta means behind or higher, while forest means carrier or a carrier. So together meta and forest mean metaphor. So they mean that idea of carrying something behind its literal meaning. So metaphor is all about the figurative meaning of the word. That is why it is called figure of speech. Now historical backdrops of metaphor from where onward the use of metaphor has started in the literary tradition. Aristotle in his famous work Poetic has used the metaphor in order to make his writing literary and figurative. Then afterward, metaphor is highly used in the Middle Ages, especially in the religious works. And after that, in the Renaissance era, William Shakespeare and John Donne has immensely used metaphor in their writing, while in the 19th century the poet Walt Whitman and Emily Dickinson had used metaphor in their writing in order to discuss the inner working of human mind. Especially the Emily Dickinson has used a metaphor for the greater use. She called human mind as an overloaded gun. So her writing is full of the metaphorical, words, and a lot of metaphors has been used in her poems. So now looking at the definition of the metaphor, how can we define metaphor? Metaphor is the direct comparison between two unlike things. So this thing is very much important that it is a direct comparison between two unlike things. So metaphor is a figure of speech that describe a concept and object that describes a concept or object by comparing it to something else. So metaphor is a type of implied comparison without the use of as or like that is being carried in the figurative device simply where the things are compared with the use of as or like. But in the case of metaphor, as and like are not used, but direct comparison has been made. So it metaphor asserts that one thing is other, that A is B while B is A. It doesn't say that A is like B or B is like A. For example, we can say that Ali is a lion. Here Ali is A while lion is B. It is a direct comparison between Ali and lion. We are not saying that Ali is like a lion. If we say like a lion, then it becomes simply it doesn't become the direct comparison, but we say that Ali is a lion. Here A become B, so here the quality of lion is being attributed to Ali, the bravery. So Ali is a lion. Time is money. Here time is A while money is B. So there is a direct comparison between time and money. So time is money in a term that time is also important as money is. Life is a highway. How can life be a highway? Life is like a highway that and the highways, the peoples and the vehicle comes and goes. So same goes for the life where peoples comes in the case of birth and goes in the case of death. So this is the metaphorical use of the language. Now looking at the types of metaphor, how many types of metaphor we have? we have got four types of metaphor. These are dead metaphors, mixed metaphors, extended metaphors, and implied metaphors. Looking one by one in these types. What is dead metaphor? As from the name, it is obvious that dead metaphor is that type of metaphor which is not in the use now, but it was once in the use, but due to the repeated use, it's lost its figurativeness. So it become that is the heart of the matter. So heart of the matter is a commonly expression in our daily life routine. Then next is a mixed metaphor. What is mixed metaphor? A mixed metaphor is a metaphor when two or more metaphors are used in the same sentences. They create confusion. How? For example, too many cooks break the camel back. So it is an example of mixed metaphor. And next to mixed metaphor, we have got extended metaphor. What is an extended metaphor? An extended metaphor is that type of metaphor when a metaphor is extended over several phrases or sentences. For example, it is used in the Shakespearean play where the famous speech that all the world is a stage and men or women are merely players. They have got their exits and entrances. So this is an extended metaphor here. Shakespeare compared life to a play or a drama. Afterward, we have got implied metaphor. What does this mean? Implied metaphor is a metaphor. It made comparison between two things without the use of as or like. For example, she was the shining star in the company. Here, she means the lady or woman is being compared with the star without the use of like or as, so it is an applied metaphor. Afterward, we are looking at the literary example of the metaphor. So, first is Hamlet, famous soliloquy, to be or not to be. Here's to be or not to be is the metaphor for the struggle for the existence. If we look on the words structure, if we less stress, then the meaning got clear. To be or not to be. Here is the struggle for what? Struggle for one's existence in this line. Another example from Shakespearean famous play Romeo and Juliet, where the lines goes that, but soft what light through yonder windows breaks. It is the east and Juliet is the sun. Juliet is the sun. Here you see, Juliet is compared to sun. So by emphasizing the beauty and radiance of Juliet, the Shakespeare called the Juliet as the sun. Juliet is the sun. Another example is from Hadith Gibran, who works sand and foam, where the sentence goes, "Our words are but crumbs that fall down from the feast of the mind." Our words are but crumbs that fall down from the feast of mind. What does it imply? It implies that the knowledge that we have got in today's worldly world is like a tip of iceberg. Mean that worldly knowledge is a little knowledge and a lot of knowledge is yet to be discovered now. So afterward, we've got another famous example from Robert Frost's famous poem Fire and Ice, where the lines goes, some says the world will end in fire, some say in ice. So ice and fire are the metaphor for the destructive forces, while fire represents the destructive force of hate and isolation, while ice represents the destructive force of coldness and angriness. So another example is a quotation from Emily Dickinson, where she being a poet of the dead says, "Dying is a wild night and a new road." So here two metaphors are being implied. Dying is a wild night and a new road. So new road. It means that death is unpredictable. We cannot predict death. And secondly, it is a new beginning. Death is not the end of life, but it is the beginning of a new life. Being a Muslim, we have a belief. And afterward, another example is from Virginia Woolf, where she says, "Books are the mirror of the soul." Books are the mirror of soul. Virginia Woolf, as in the mainstream novelist of stream of consciousness, as in her novel Mrs. Dalby, and in the Uh, Mrs. Ravi, we see that she jumps into the mind of her characters and write from their point of view by using the stream of consciousness technique, where she says that books are the mirror of soul, mean books reflects the writer's innermost thought. Another and last example we have got is time. Time is a moving image of eternity from Plato. It means that time is fleeting and impermanent. Time is going. Time is not stopping. Time is fleeting and it is not permanent. It is going. So our last section of video is about the functions of the metaphor. What does metaphor perform, and what is the role of metaphor in the literary work? So metaphors add color and emphasis to literary work. Secondly, it allows writer to convey complex ideas. Many complex ideas are being conveyed through the use of this literary and figurative device metaphor. It creates vivid images and symbols. So here the sun. So metaphor create vivid images and sun, and lastly metaphor add multiple layers of meaning to our literary text. So this is all about metaphor. Hope you have enjoyed this video. If you like it, then do subscribe this channel. Israr Tanoli, the researcher, for upcoming videos on figurative and literary devices. Have a nice day. Thanks.